Brett E, what's up, man?
Let's go!
Let's get it. Let's get it. What's up, YouTube? And welcome to episode number 5. We getting all into business on how to invest and get it in. Brett E, how you feeling, man?
Man, I just want to say to the people, konnichiwa, ni hao, hola, and what up? Living life, and it is great.
Now, Brett, somebody asked me, I gotta tell you this, somebody asked me maybe like a week ago, they asked me, hey, I love it. What language is that? I don't know. Do you even tell them what language it is? Do they know?
I feel like on one hand, I want to keep it a secret, and the people that speak the language, they know. I think it's kind of like, I think it's a cool kind of like secret to like when, as people go along and they're like in episode 10 and they figure it out, then they'll be like on the inside track. But yeah, it's just something that we came up with to kind of connect to the broader audience, to welcome in a lot more people. So I think it's just a cool like little Easter egg that's hidden in every episode that people can enjoy.
I like it, man. I like it, man. Keep it going. Keep it going, man. Let's do this. I'm glad you all are here, tuned in, locked in. I hope you're growing. In fact, if you are growing in any way, or this is just like a hub where you just come and get information, it helps give you strategy, help you think differently. Make sure below you go ahead, you like, subscribe to the channels, and make sure you turn on the bell to always get notified about what is going on. We don't want you all to miss any of what's happening. So make sure you all do that. Brett E, can you give them the official disclaimer for today?
Y'all be grown. Do your own research. We are not financial advisors. You are the captain of your own ship. So don't do just what anyone says to do. It's up to you to do your own research and find out what is right for your risk tolerance and for your family's planning as you are moving forward in the process of investing. These are just conversations that Alex and I have, and we are letting the public in on those, so it can hopefully help you go from being maybe nervous or scared about being in the market or investing in the market to taking your first steps and then feeling more confident about going forward and investing in the future.
Really good, man. That disclaimer is always needed, always necessary as we go forward. And so,
So Alex, give them the recap to get everybody lathered up from last episode to get them ready for this episode, if you don't mind.
Man, absolutely. So last episode, we got into two key things as takeaways. One was your ETF homework. I hope, in fact, I know you did it. I know most of you did it, the ETF homework, going and researching the top ETFs and the holdings within that ETF, exchange traded fund, a basket of stocks. You did your homework. You picked out that sector that you like, and then you chose 2 or 3 from that ETF and you added it to your watch list on Yahoo Finance or CNBC app, either app or your platform, whatever you use, and you've been watching it and you're simply becoming more familiar with how things move, how they are shaking up, how they grow, etc. And so absolutely. So if you did your homework, make sure you go ahead and like this video. If you didn't do your homework, like it twice. One time. Absolutely. Absolutely. Brett, this is gonna be different, man. Episode 5 is gonna be different. We have decided to give you all behind the scenes into our lives, right? Even more. So Brett and I, we always have these intriguing conversations. Like every time we have discussions about investments, business, family, whatever it is, man, we constantly make each other sharper. If I'm thinking about an investment, I'm thinking about making, I bring it to Brett. He gives me a different angle, perspective that I never saw before. So it always adds value all the time. And so today, We're giving you all more of the behind the scenes, and we're talking about questions you all may even be thinking in your own minds. And so, Brett, man, can you give them some of that, some of the hotness, man? You're doing something. You are doing something very intriguing with a very hot topic right now when it comes to property, man. What do you have going, man, that you kind of give us some insight on?
Okay, so one of my rental units, I over like maybe December, mostly December, I turned into an Airbnb. And so now travel and everybody bouncing back from being stuck in and only having their kids to look at for 2.5 years. Everybody is like wanting to get out and start traveling now. So thinking about that, and shout out to my business partner, Brandon, one of my other best friends from college that we know. He's my business partner on this venture. And so the Airbnb process and the renovation process it was amazing. Took a lot of hard work. I knew very little about the DIY process before I started, but I just made the decision that I was going to learn it. And then I started taking the action steps of watching dozens and dozens and dozens of YouTube videos on how to for each step of the renovation process. So from painting, from flooring to like how to cut flooring and tile using a wet tile saw. Knew nothing about all of that stuff. Shout out to my other best friends from high school, Loby and Heather, who were very, very helpful. Loby works in the housing industry and construction and rehab. So he helped me out a lot with just pointers on like, do this first before you do this so that you don't get yourself in, like a timeline where you realize you should have done this part first. All those different things were very helpful. And, my parents and I, shout out to my parents, my mom and dad, they helped me rehab. And if I can remember, I'll put like some different pictures into the episode. We'll weave that in somehow. But they helped me step by step. My mom was helping me paint the walls. My dad was helping me like measure off and cut flooring. And so now the Airbnb is doing phenomenal. We're probably running at like a 80% plus booking rate. And it is just like a force to be reckoned with. And we went with a theme. The theme is as seen on TV. So we did a combination theme by me being a television actor. Shout out to Atlanta, having a new season that's out right now. So we did a combination of that and like things that you can see as seen on TV. And it is just flying off the shelf like gangbusters.
That's good, man. So I wanna get further into this. So you mentioned, so you do acting, right? You're a stock market investor, or you're an investor. Period. You invest in the stock market, and now you're talking about the Airbnb piece, which is incredible as well. Like, how do the two work together? Airbnb, stock market, invest. Like how do you weave the two together to work together and to produce more profit for you?
Yeah, so the idea that I have is I call it like the Success Cyclone, right? So one of the things
Success
that
Cyclone.
the Success Cyclone.
Got it.
So one of the things that I do as a just a general philosophy that I have is kind of like working my mind to think like, how can I make this situation make me more money, right? So looking at the real estate investing side of the portfolio is once we put all the money into creating the Airbnb from nothing, basically.
Because mom and dad said you're doing great with the kids. And they would know a little something about that. Because your son actually ate something green and liked it. Any win is a reason to come to Maggiano's. So stop by anytime for a great time every time. Celebrate every win at Maggiano's.
Now, one of the things that we do is we use part of the profit from the Airbnb to then buy Airbnb stock. So as Airbnb is helping us put people in the Airbnb and get, 5-star guests and everything like that, then we're using that money to make us more money. As we're making Airbnb better, they're making us better, and then it's just like a success cyclone all the way up. I think it's just like a really cool concept.
That's good. So for those who are watching this right now, so the Success Cyclone, did you invent that?
I mean, if it's not out there, I just improv'd it just now.
It's yours. All the way. I like it. But you're gonna have people now posting on social media talking about their own personal success cyclone. And they have to tag Brett E in that one, man. I like it, man. Incredible idea and concept. And so just so make sure they understand what you just said, which is, man, this is brilliant. So you have renovated a property, turned it into an Airbnb with a theme to attract more people. Then you take some of the profit from the Airbnb and then purchase Airbnb stock. So you're getting paid on one hand from those who are leasing, renting the Airbnb, then getting paid again from the stock itself.
It's a pretty cool concept. It's like making Airbnb buy me Airbnb stock. Like, pretty neat concept.
Nice.
So, like, what do you think? Maybe like how people can use that concept. So another way that I think about it also. So just to speak to like some of my other actors that are tuning in, because I have talked with, and everybody knows this, that I've been on set with, is that like I am quick to try to generate the conversation around investing, because as actors, there's not like a retirement plan, right? Like we're out there self-employed, making, what we can, but there's no retirement plan for us. So we have to create our own retirement plan. So I like to generate conversations around that on set. Like, what do you want to do after acting? Or if something happened and you weren't able to act for 2 months or 3 months, what do you do then? Like, what's the scenario then? And so I've been fortunate to like help a lot of not newer actors, but actors that were seasoned, that were new to the stock market or new to investing, to start like thinking outside the box. And one of the ways that I like to do that using the Success Cyclone as well is on the actor side. If you're working for a show or a movie, let's say you book like a Netflix show. In the same way that I was talking about the Airbnb, making the Airbnb purchase me Airbnb stock, when you book a Netflix show, you should probably think about using part of that money to buy Netflix stock, because they're using our faces. They're betting thousands and thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars on our faces being able to help make them multiple millions of dollars, right? So we should probably use part of that money and make that money make us more money as things go forward. So for example, like I got a Home Depot commercial that's coming out. national Home Depot commercial. I'm using part of that money when I start getting those checks coming in to buy Home Depot stock because they're using my face to make them money. I should be using that money to make me more money in like the 3-year, 5-year, 10-year type of time frame.
I have a that's I like it, man. I like the how intentional you are when it comes to navigating that in a successful way. Let me ask you a question. So when you're doing that, you mentioned like with the Airbnb, with this Home Depot, with the different options. So do you dollar cost average into those? What's your thought process around that?
Well, with things that are like that I feel are super stable,
Mm-hmm.
like Home Depot, Apple, Airbnb to an extent. Like I feel like Airbnb is going to explode. I feel like it's pretty undervalued as the market, like the reopening and the bounce back traffic starts to happen over the summer. I just feel like Airbnb is going to do really well. And I look at our calendar and how much it's booked, like the Airbnb calendar, and I'm like, people are traveling, like they want to travel. Um, and so I set like some kind of limit orders, but my overall goal is like I want a lot of. I'm focused on ownership, so I'm focused more so on the number of shares versus a certain price period because I'm planning on holding this for 5 years. So I'm not so focused on the entry price, and the entry price is important. However, when you think about 5 years from now, do you think Airbnb is going to be doing better or worse? I'm betting that it's going to be doing much better 5 years from now is where I'm placing my bets. So I do put some like because I like we were saying in the last episode of put it on your watch list. That's
Right.
one of the things that's on my watch list that I take a look at 2-3 times a day. It's just on a ticker on my phone. So and it's on the home screen basically on my phone. So whenever I open up my phone, I see like the top things that I'm always just keeping an eye on. So Apple, Microsoft, Airbnb, um, and maybe like Amazon, Google. Those things I'm always I just take a quick glance at and see what they're. So I know when they take a dip, I need to buy a little bit more because I believe in those companies pretty pretty well over 5 years.
That's solid, man. I like the again the strategy element of that. I think it's incredible. So like I use a similar strategy to that when it comes to my rental property. Like
Mm-hmm.
like so I do not, right? I do not buy any expenses, liabilities if I don't first have an asset in place. Period. Right. So the last vehicle that I purchased 3 or 4 years ago, my property paid for that vehicle, not my job, not my business, none of that kind of stuff. Right. And
Yeah.
so I think the more we can get our community thinking in that direction, because they're so creative, they're so intentional, they're hard workers, and now we're showing them ways of how they can. Yes, they're hard workers, but their money can work harder for them. Like like that opens up a whole new world, Brett. Like what you're doing opens a whole new world to investing. When you're talking about Airbnb and it buys the stock and it like that's incredible. And so I think that that's incredible. Not only that, but I also use my assets, and you may do this as well, Brett. But I also use my assets to pay off debt, right? So
Mm-hmm.
so property, like for me, that's just an avenue, right, to be able to reduce debt that may have accumulated from previous decisions that I made that were not good decisions.
Sure,
And
sure.
so I just strongly believe in if we can get assets to pay off debt, right? We can get assets to make us more money.
Because mom and dad said you're doing great with the kids. And they would know a little something about that. Because your son actually ate something green and liked it. Any win is a reason to come to Maggiano's. So stop by anytime for a great time every time. Celebrate every win at Maggiano's.
To be able to provide a better, quality of life for ourselves, for our families, etc. It's a game changer, and I already know this. I'm calling Britt like we're going to get a lot more questions from people who want us to go more into like how
Mhm.
we did this. But like, man, it's a cool thing, man. Even hearing what you said about you have actor friends who you're not able to introduce this to. But I think like that kind of thing, man, is so incredible, man, for sure.
One thing I wanted you to also touch on, because we were talking about it a little while earlier offline before we jumped on the show, was about like the way that people, like, let's say like that are in the 9 to 5 world, how they can take the idea of the Success Cyclone and implement it like in their regular lives. You could talk a little bit about that for the people too.
Yeah, so I strongly believe that even someone has like a 9 to 5, right? That I have a personal philosophy, right? In that we should live below our means while we expand our means,
Ooh,
right? So
wait,
we know
wait,
that we should live.
wait, hold on. Everybody, I want you to turn your volumes up. I want you to lean in so Alex can drop this fire for you. Hit him one more time.
Yeah, man, we should live below our means, then expand while we expand our means. What does that look like? It is deciding that I'm not going to spend all the money from my 9 to 5. So say you make $35,000 a year. You know what? Maybe even 40,000 a year. It means you don't spend $40,000 a year. Maybe you live off 80% of that or 70% of that, right? So you're living below your means while you use your other income to expand your means. Which is real. So you're using your income to expand your ability to get improve your quality of life. And so I think the more we in that mindset, listen, Brett, I believe we're about to change uh what lunch breaks look like.
Ooh,
Yeah, man. Like, you know how you
come
go
on,
on a lunch
come
break and
on.
people are like, this happened and I can't believe this happened. I can't stand so and so. Nah, you can when you get in this mode, it makes you get around people who are about not just remaining in a cycle, but those who also want to break out of the cycle. Man, I'm believing this. The culture of lunch breaks are changing, man. People are gonna be on their phones buying stock on their lunch break. They're gonna be on their phones looking for property on their lunch break. Like, I believe, man, I don't know where it came from, but I just believe that, man. Like, we're gonna set a new trend, man, with this financial education. It's gonna really help people out, man, for real.
And people that are working at the 9 to 5s, right? Think about this way with the Success Cyclone. If you're working at a company and you've been working there for 5 years, right? And that company is publicly traded, just Google the name of your company and then put is publicly traded or and then put the name of your company publicly traded. It'll show you, if it doesn't show you a ticker symbol that shows you like the price of it, then the company isn't publicly traded. But if it is, an idea might be because that company is using you every month to make them money. Maybe look into, if you like the company, you've been working there for 5 years, start using some of that paycheck to buy stock in the company. And when you just walk in different when you own a piece of the company that you work for. So that means when you start ownership, that means that everybody else, your coworkers, are working for you too, right? Because if the company is publicly traded, then everybody that works in that company is working to help make your stock better. So that's just a thought that people can think about as well.
That's good, man. I like the way you always introduce concepts that make people be like, I believe that they have these aha moments. These aha moments, man. So I like it. I like it, man. We've talked, Brett, Airbnb. We talked the Success Cyclone. Brett brought a whole new concept in on this episode 5, behind the scenes. The Success Cyclone talked about Airbnb, talked about his commercials and how he uses these platforms to be able to add to his even stock portfolio. I mentioned about how he can use it to pay down debt, and then also further advance. Like these concepts that I believe you all are hearing, as you hear them, begin to keep note of them. Keep them in your journal, keep them in the notes on your phone or whatever else it is, and take them and research them. I'm telling you, it's going to add a lot of value to your life for sure. For sure. For sure. Brett, I want to give them this too, man, as a takeaway, action
Mm-hmm.
step, homework. Like the next time you're on your lunch break, or maybe you are at home and you are watching your favorite television shows, and you're binging Netflix or whatever else it is. I want you to carve out some time from that time to work on your ideas, or think about, write down, make note of ideas that you already have on how you too can add to your asset column. Hey, maybe I'll research Airbnb. Maybe I'll research a rental property. Maybe I'll research further to my watch list or whatever it is. Like, take away some of the time that you would normally spend doing things that everybody else is doing, to lock in to further make your dreams come true. Like shifting that timepiece. Because for me, bro, like when I change, when I altered the way I handle my time, my whole life, man, begin to change, man. What are your any last thoughts or takeaways from that, man, from you regarding episode 5?
Yeah, what that made me think of was another action step that I want to present to everyone for homework, and something that really changed my thought process up when I started doing it years ago, is the idea of turn your car into your classroom. So what I mean by that is we all think like we don't have a whole bunch of time, right? And we're so busy doing this or doing that. Turn your car into your classroom instead of your, let's call it 30-minute drive into work, right? And you're listening to the top 40s of whoever. Start taking maybe 3 days a week. And instead of listening to music on your way in, start listening to like investing podcasts, and start listening to like how to do such and such that you might be have a question,
Mm.
you might have a question about in the market, or like how does this work, or how do limit orders work versus
Mhm.
market orders, things like that. Start listening to those things on your drive to work, your lunch break, like Alex was saying, just have little earbud in your ear or whatnot, and your drive home. And you'll be surprised how much faster you start accumulating knowledge and feeling more comfortable as you do that going forward.
Brett, what are you books you recommend around that? You mentioned that, like, so what, any like favorites that you really like to get into?
Um, I like The Alchemist. I'll drop that to you all. There's a book called The Alchemist.
Yep.
Check that one out. What about you, Alex?
The Richest Man in Babylon. Classic. The
Nice.
Richest Man in Babylon. Short read, so good though, man. One of my all-time favorites, hands down. Hands down, man.
I love it. Hey, man, we got another banging episode.
Episode 5, man. Episode 5. So good. So good. Listen, we are so glad y'all tuned in today. Listen, if you got any value, and I know you got much value from this, don't leave without liking this video, because we want more people to be exposed to what's happening here. Like, subscribe, and make sure you turn on the bell to get notified of the upcoming videos. We hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and y'all, the next 5, crazy. That's all I'm gonna say. Crazy. Brett, any last words, man?
All right, to the people, you know me, sayonara, zaijian, adios, and we'll holla.
I like it, man. Thank y'all for tuning in. Let's keep it going. In the comments, talk to us. All your feedback, all the love. We're out.